The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks, go.
Breaking news, sort of, kind of, not really, but Adam Foote versus Manny Malhotra. Who's going to be the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks? It's one of those guys. And speaking of the head coach, did Rick Tocchet break Arturs Silovs, ultimately ruining our season? Because if you think about it, we could have made the playoffs if Rick Tocchet knew how to coach. Okay.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about the Vancouver Canucks here on Locked On Canucks here at the Don't Doze Art Lab. My name is Kyle Bowen, my co-host Trevor Beggs, paying the bills, being a father, and nowhere to be found because he has a day job, okay? That's life, man. That's why I keep telling you guys, hit the like buttons to save Trevor Beggs' life. Stress kills. Stress kills hair follicles, okay? You want Trevor Beggs to go bald like me? That's on you. His life is in your hands unless you press the like button, unless you subscribe to the show and hit a couple of the links in the bio below, okay? Anywho, though, let's go earn that, okay? Let's entertain you. Let's educate you. Let's talk about these Canucks because a lot of news. I almost stumbled on my words because what's going on with this team? Something new every single week. Okay, it was not too long ago where it was Marco Sturm, right? Like I wrote about him yesterday in the Substack. I really thought that there was a strong chance that this guy would be the head coach of the Canucks. Everyone's talking about this guy, Marco Sturm. Pardon my language. All in all, though, scratch that. Patrick Johnson reporting ASAP. Okay. A couple minutes ago that it's down to two people and two people only. It's Adam Foote and Manny Malhotra. Now, I still do wonder, right? Give it a couple days. What if Bruce Cassidy gets fired and the Canucks don't put pen to paper to either Malhotra or Foote? Boom, bam, do the math. There could be a switch up, but again, all signs are indicating that it's one or the other. It's an in-house candidate. And this is a big decision, okay? Not for the obvious, right? Not because, it's the next head coach of your favorite hockey team. It's because you're going to lose one of these guys. Like, Adam Foote is not coming back as an assistant coach to coach Manny Malhotra, right? And I don't know if Manny Malhotra is going to do the same for Adam Foote as an assistant coach up in the big league. Like, I think there is a consensus that both these guys are I don't know if they're like head coaching candidates somewhere else ASAP. But you're going to lose one of these guys. And to me, if they pick Adam Foote, they may lose Manny Malhotra, like, again, I'll use the word ASAP. And for whatever reason, I mean, I guess there's tutelage there and some success. But for years and years and years, I looked at an article that was written years ago. Manny Malhotra, highly touted as one of the brightest young coaches in hockey. So do you really want to lose that guy? Speaking of losing something, do you want to lose the structure? Do you want to lose the language, right? Because if Manny Malhotra goes up to the NHL, yeah, he's in the system, and he kind of gets it, but he doesn't get it as much as Adam Foote, right? And that's the philosophy that Rick Tocchet and company have been spewing on this roster over the last, 200 regular season games? And again, Adam Foote knows the ins and outs. He knows the players. Hey, he has the cosign from Quinn Hughes. So if you bring Adam Foote back, how much of that language changes? I'm sure some of it does, but I feel as if the transition is more cohesive, especially with, again, having that Quinn Hughes cosign, which to me is important, and which to me has kept Adam Foote in the fight for this job. And this is something I predicted, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months ago. That's why you're tuned into Locked On Canucks, because sometimes I get things right. I said it, yo. Rick Tocchet's going to go, and Adam Foote's going to be the next coach of the Canucks. Quinn Hughes gives him the cosign. Boom, bam. It makes all the sense in the world, and we could be a couple days from that decision being made. And again, it's a pretty drastic one. Now, the the thing about Adam Foote, right? Defensive defenseman. This team already couldn't score a lot of goals last year. You could blame that on the coaching. You could blame that on the player personnel. You could blame that on a lot of things, right? That is just the truth. And I think a lot of Canucks fans out there will be scared, really scared, right? If they hire Adam Foote, that nothing really is going to change. And here's the thing I got to say to Canucks fans, okay? Don't worry too much if that's the case. Because what if the team in general is just more healthier? Yeah, it's minus JT Miller, but what if this team is like really healthy? Again, they're a playoff team without a doubt in my mind. And they're also one of the best defensive teams in hockey, which is a pretty good trait to have, especially in the playoffs. Now, again, you need your superstars doing their thing and winning games in the playoffs more so than ever in 2025. But again, the team has Quinn Hughes, and if Elias Pettersson comes back to form, a strong, defensively sound team with good goaltending with those two guys could equate to some damage. Okay, I'm not saying a Stanley Cup final appearance, but they could take a step next year because, again, the defense at times this year looked almost perfect. It looked very similar to last year. And again, you bring Adam Foote back. The language is kind of the same, and they can kind of just keep the program going and hope to, again, be more healthy. I'll add this too. Like, that's a lot of pressure on Elias Pettersson because I feel as if he's going to have to kickstart the offense, not Adam Foote, right? The trickle-down effect within the community of players, right? Pettersson does his thing. He's looking like an alpha. Everyone has a bit more magic. Hey, Filipino's a healthier. Like, again, that's where your goals are coming from. It's not because Adam Foote gets hired. There's a demand in the interviews that, if we hire you, you better pick up the offense. I know they're not saying that to Adam Foote. They're pretty much saying like, do the same things. Get to our players more, though. Be more efficient with the language when it comes to philosophy and culture building and player dynamics and all that jazz. Because Rick Tocchet struggled with that. He really did. He did. We'll get to that a bit later with the Arturs Silovs things. But again, Adam Foote, just be better at talking at the language when it comes to developing your players. But all in all, teach the same things when it comes to the defense, when it comes to being structured, when it comes to being locked down. And being physical and being big. So yeah, that's an intriguing option. And the Manny Malhotra thing. Okay, let's talk more about that. I've seen the interviews. I see this guy talking in front of the cameras. He does give me that energy. Okay, he gives me that. Oh, okay, yeah, but this guy might be one of the great young coaches in hockey. And there's a risk here, right? There's a risk here. Picking Quinn Hughes' second favorite coach of all time over Manny Malhotra is scary because you may lose Manny ASAP, right? He may follow his son to the east. I think his son's playing in Boston. He may take some time, maybe pick up another assistant job somewhere else or another AHL job somewhere else and just, spend more time developing. And then, when he gets his shot to be an NHL coach, has more options out there, right? That could be the case. Again, based on Adam Foote being Quinn Hughes' second favorite coach of all time, I'm taking that risk. I'm sorry. Everything for Quinn Hughes. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to be scared, but hey, it is what it is. And yeah, here we are, right? Watching the NHL playoffs and trying to find a head coach. It's familiar times. A mediocre franchise. All in all, though, I have confidence in both decisions coming up here. Okay, because you never know what you're gonna get out of your players when a new head coach is there, right? Again, Curtin Knockenblocker, head coach of the Oilers. Look at what he's doing. I'm not sure if he was on the radar of a lot of NHL teams last year. Yeah, he changed the game. I believe Adam Foote or Manny Malhotra can do the same thing. I'm gonna have faith. Internal hiring, man. Internal hiring. After a chaotic year. A lot of faith still within its employee dynamics within that organization. And go Canucks, go, man. This is something else. Speaking of which, let's get to some comments. Both Dan Jardine, the veteran of the program, and G. Ellis saying the same thing. Make Adam Foote the new Canucks head coach and make Manny Malhotra the assistant. Now, you guys got to remember, Manny Malhotra was already an assistant with the Toronto Maple Leafs not too long ago. Does he want to do that again? I don't know. I don't know. Because, again, a lot of people are telling me that he may leave if the Canucks don't hire him this year. Personal motives, right? He's not going to coach Abbotsford again. Maybe he doesn't want to be an assistant after getting a taste of being the head guy on a successful program. Like, again, you never know. So I don't see this scenario happening. Again, you hire Adam Foote as the head coach. Manny comes in as the assistant. That being said, that'd be ideal. Again, you keep a bright mind in the system. Decisions. And we have Trevor Beggs in the lobby too. So we're gonna cut to break in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to ask Trevor, like, who would you rather have? Okay, Manny Malhotra, Adam Foote, because again, you're a friend of the program, friend of Trevor Beggs. Maybe you should text the home and get some more insight. But Patrick Johnson saying it's down to two guys. It's Adam Foote or Manny Malhotra. And I told the people that I don't really care who it is. I don't care if we lose Manny Malhotra because we hire Adam Foote, Quinn Hughes' best friend, whatever, right? Because I mean what I say. I know in my heart that I don't know how this is going to work out. I just got to watch it work out. Okay. These first time coaches can do their thing. They can fail, but they can also succeed. I'm just here to watch the show. That all being said, give the people a decision. Okay. Who do you want here? And are you scared to lose one or the other?
I want Manny Malhotra between the two for head coach. And Kyle, thanks for picking up the weight here in the first 12 minutes here on Locked On Canucks. But to me, I think Manny Malhotra, we've seen the work that he's done in Abbotsford this season. We've seen how good of a communicator he is, great at keeping guys accountable. We've also seen how great Adam Foote is on the defensive side of things and on the penalty killing side of things. And his one head coaching stint, the one season he had the Kelowna Rockets, he did not do a very good job, right? They had a mediocre season despite some of the talent on their team. To me, and again, call me crazy, I have more confidence in Manny as a head coach. I think the dream team, if you could do it, would be Manny as head coach and Adam Foote staying in his role as the.
How do they do that coach. Though? How do they do that? Is it like Adam? I know you want to be a head coach, but what if he pay you a lot to be an assistant coach? Is that how it would work? Like, why would Adam want to stay here if his buddy Rick Tocchet is not here anymore and he's not promoted to head coach?
Because how many of these jobs are there in the NHL, right? I mean, Adam Foote could go to the NHL team, but look at the work that he's done with this defense, the relationship that he's built with the defense on this team. And look, I think there's a good chance that Adam Foote, I'd say it's actually more likely than not that Adam Foote's going to walk and maybe chase another opportunity. But there's no guarantee, especially if Rick Tocchet doesn't go to another NHL team, there's no guarantee for Adam Foote that he's going to step into a head coaching role or even step into an assistant role at the same capacity, right? Where he really is the right-hand man in Vancouver.
Great point.
Look at the relationship he's built with Quinn Hughes. I mean, you get the chance to coach one of the best defensemen in the NHL, in NHL history for that matter. I mean, look what Quinn Hughes has done over the past couple of seasons here. So I still think it's an attractive spot for Adam Foote to be. Look, the Vancouver Canucks, they obviously got flaws up front, but on defense, that is their sweet spot. And retaining Adam Foote to coach the defense, to help with the penalty kill, and, promote Manny, who by all accounts is ready for this opportunity. I think he's more ready than Adam Foote. To me, I think that is the best case scenario for your Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, and that's fair enough. And again, the people want an opinion. They want a definitive answer. But again, I'm just gonna keep prefacing that I'm looking after the top of my head. My girlfriend, again, kissing the top of my head. My bald spot is getting bigger and bigger. So I'm not gonna stress out about which first-time head coach is the right guy for the Canucks because I just don't know. And I'd be lying to you if I watched every single Abbotsford Canucks game and just saw like the true visionary Manny Malhotra is, right? Like I just don't know. I don't know. And I'm willing to be confident in either option. Because I get the whole Manny Malhotra thing, and I'm also cognitive of like possibly losing him because if he is like this highly touted mind in the AHL ranks, in the young coaches ranks, yeah, we might lose him. But what if Adam Foote, continues the program and the Canucks still work hard and blah, 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 and Pettersson picks it up and we're more healthier? Like, there's going to be success here because I'm confident that Adam Foote knows how to teach the penalty kill, motivate his defensemen, I know the offense. No offense, he doesn't know the offense, but can we make, again, like, Jacques Lemaire won Stanley Cups. That's what I'm trying to say, Trevor. See, that's what I was trying to do here, Trevor. Let's get to break.
All right, let's get to break. On the other side, we'll pick up the coaching conversation. I'll give my thoughts on Adam Foote as a potential head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. We'll also get into Arturs Silovs. Is he in his last days with the Vancouver Canucks organization? What? That's coming up on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. Oh, man. No, well, this is a great ad read for two nutty hosts, but today's episode is brought to you by wonderful Pistachios. Are you looking for the snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein, baby, with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. You hear that, Elias Pettersson? You got to stock up on Wonderful Pistachios. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And you know me, I like to pop those naked nuts in my mouth morning, noon, and night. So give me the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk, in the car, or just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go-to. And if you like the teas, like Kyle Bowen, you like cracking open that shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are also a classic favorite. So whether you like them naked or you like the teas, make sure you get snacking and get.
I like them salty. I like the nuts salty, man. I like them salty, delicious, and crunchy. All in my mouth. Give me them nuts, Trevor.
Buddy.
Make sure you get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Begsy, second best dad in the world, and Kyle Bowen at your services. Manny Malhotra versus Adam Foote. It's coming down to the wire. Man. Again, I like how I brought up the whole Jacques Lemaire thing. I'm not scared of a defensive head coach, man. I'm just not. I'm sorry. Like, if Quinn Hughes is co-signing him, I look at Quinn Hughes as a genius. I know. Like, when you're getting interviewed after a game and you're being asked about your coaches, you're gonna you're gonna appreciate them, especially if you have a good relationship with them. So, for one person, it could be like, yo, you guys are reading way too much into that comment. But again, about Quinn Hughes loving Adam Foote, but I think that matters. And that's why I'm gonna be confident with either choice. Because in my soul, I'm like, I think Manny Malhotra might be the better mind, but is that going to lead to more efficiency and more wins? I don't know, Trevor.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for Adam Foote, too, is just keeping some stability within this organization, right? I mean, look how tumultuous it's been. Look how there's been so much turmoil with this group, man. This season has made my insides turn, to be honest with you. But, Adam Foote, again, would create a sense of stability in the sense that, like, a guy like Marco Sturm would not, right? Because he'd be an outsider coming in. The thing I actually really do like about Adam Foote, and I've noticed this just being in the booth for, a number of games throughout the Rick Tocchet era, was how much Adam Foote talks on the bench. I'm not going to lie, in terms of other head coaches I've seen, or assistant coaches for that matter, in the NHL, when you watch him on the bench, I've never seen a guy talk to his players as much as Adam Foote does. Okay. Just throughout the game, after a shift, tapping guys on the back, talking to them in their ear. I mean, who knows what he's saying, man? Maybe he's just, maybe he's making dick jokes out there. Who knows? But he's always talking to his guys on the bench, and that's something that I've really liked about Adam Foote in Vancouver. And I think it's the reason why Quinn Hughes talks about him being one of the best coaches he's ever had. So, yeah, look, I'm not going to come out here and say I don't think Adam Foote's a good choice. I know we got some commenters who do believe that. Certainly that one season in the WHL does give me some pause because it was not a good season in a much lesser league as in his only role as a head coach. But that being said, people do learn over time, right? And I do believe that potentially Adam Foote is ready for this opportunity. I think Manny Malhotra is better equipped for it just based on his leadership skills. But I do think Adam Foote is still a fine choice for head coach.
And bro, like, why? Again, off to a slow start in this episode. It took me about 10 minutes to really warm up and like get my thoughts in order because Trevor's more of the X's and O's guys, especially with the head coaches. Okay, he's in the booth, he's watching the bench, he's watching Abbotsford Canucks games. Again, I'm just opening my mouth and throwing theories out there. But how about this theory? Okay, keep Adam Foote because he wants to be here. I'm sure that I know, Trevor, you touched on like, oh, how many jobs are out here like whether it be him being an assistant to Manny or vice versa, blah blah blah, or like like that's why he's interested in staying, because he knows like having an NHL coaching job is it's a beautiful thing. It's a luxury, right? But at the same time, he could have jumped ship, right? And if
Yeah.
again, not a lot of these jobs are available, but he's up for the challenge. Like again, you guys, you guys talk you talk about you talk about how if Adam Foote takes this job on a team that's full of turmoil, and he's already been a bad coach for Kamloops or whatever, it's not going to be a good look for him if he can't get the job done here. Like he might not ever get a job as a head coach ever again, right? Like you put 2 and 2 together, but at the same time, it's like he wants the challenge still. Like something tells me he wants to be a Canuck. I like that.
I think something to consider here too, Kyle, is that I do think there's a chance that Manny Malhotra and Adam Foote can work in conjunction. Adam Foote and Rick Tocchet, I'm trying to remember if they actually did play together. I don't think they did. I could be mistaken on that. Manny Malhotra and Adam Foote actually did play together for a couple of seasons there in Columbus. Exactly. Yeah. So, they do have some familiarity there, but of course, egos get in the way, right? Adam Foote being about 10 years older than Manny Malhotra, like he probably thinks he's, more ready for this opportunity. He's put a bit more time in. But Manny has more head coaching experience. Would Adam Foote be okay, being, 10 years older, but being the assistant? I mean, it's hard to know what their mentality is. But at least those guys have played together before and have some experience together before. So that makes me think that potentially it could work. But I do think if it's going to work in conjunction, it's Manny as the head coach and Adam Foote as the assistant, or as the assistant. But yeah, I don't know. So it's something to consider that they have played together before and they have experience together. Would they work behind the bench together when they're fighting for the same job? I think that remains to be seen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, like there's not much more we can say here because the decision's about to come down, and we're talking about like first time NHL head coaches potentially, and yeah, like I guess maybe the last point we'll make is coming from the Blazers fan. He's saying like, Malhotra did bring Abbotsford their first I guess a division title. They're in the Pacific Final in the AHL. Like there's some success there. Like there's some conversion. And the decision's not going to be an easy one. Okay, it really isn't. Okay?
Let's make a prediction right now, though, Kyle. Who's going to be the next head coach?
I think it's Manny Malhotra. I think it's going
to be Adam Foote, because I think it's going to come down to the Quinn Hughes cosign. I think the longer this goes on for, the more likely it is to be Manny. Obviously, right?
Okay.
I don't think they're going to hire him in the middle of the AHL playoffs. But I think it's it's a tough decision, and maybe it comes down to the Quinn Hughes cosign, and I think he'd cosign Adam Foote. So I'm going to say Adam Foote.
Okay, and I mentioned this earlier in the episode because again, there's some conversation about this. Like, why would Manny leave if he doesn't get the head coaching job with the Vancouver Canucks ASAP? Like, you just got your first head coaching job in the AHL. Like, why would he leave ASAP? Because some people are scared of that. Because like, what if he stays as the head coach of the Abbotsford Canucks going into next season? Adam Foote isn't successful. They pulled the plug quick, and Manny Malhotra gets promoted. Like, so again, like, why should Canucks fans not be scared of ultimately losing Manny if you pick Adam?
I mean, honestly, I think it's a risk, right? Like, it depends how much you like Manny, want to value him. Like, look, there's other head coaching gigs out there, and Rob Rossi of The Athletic has reported that the Pittsburgh Penguins also have interest in Manny Malhotra.
Oh man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So it's a risky take. I mean, I think if similar to Travis Green when he was about to be recruited by the Vancouver Canucks, other teams were showing interest in Travis Green back in 2018 there. So, I mean, look, it is a risk, right? And if you're scared of losing Manny Malhotra, I don't think you hire a guy because you're worried about losing him. If he's the right guy, hire him now. And if he's not the right guy right now, don't worry about it and figure out your AHL coach down the road, or not down the road, I should say. But it's a lesser priority than figuring out your NHL head coach. But yeah, I mean, losing Manny is certainly a risk. It's not a guarantee, obviously, but there's a risk another team wants to poach him.
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, let's get to a comment before we get to the break. Again, man, this the Canucks, man. We ain't playing games, but they're playing games with our heart, man, and our minds. This one comes from Josh T. This comment. Thanks for all the comments. We love every single one of you guys. Josh is saying, these two guys are the worst Canucks commentators on the internet. Super cringe. Trevor, I'm all about accountability here. How are you going to be better at doing this? Because, you read this comment, you took it to heart, and it's constructive criticism, baby. How are you going to be better, bro?
That's a great question. I'm going to be like Quinn Hughes. I'm going to read more books.
What a beautiful answer. I'm going to read more books too, and read more comments on the other side. Okay, Trevor, who we shouting out?
We're shouting out no one. Sit back, relax, scratch your sack, and we'll be back on the side here on Locked On Canucks.
Boom, boom, boom. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Do us all a favor, hit the like button, and let's do this, man. Let's go hire a head coach. It's exciting times. Speaking of exciting times, speaking of reading, hit the link in the bio. We dropped our second article / conversation / transcript yesterday. We're going to be dropping those every Monday and Friday, so join the Substack, and dude, just read with Begsy and Bowen, okay? We're trying to change lives here and make the world a better place, and we're trying to just do everything for Josh. Like, I don't know about you, Trevor, but for the rest of the day, I'm gonna think about that comment, and I'm gonna use it to motivate me. And when I start making $1 billion a month, I'm gonna give Josh $500 million, because you can't get to where you want to go without the non-yes men in your life, Trevor. I read that. Deepak Chopra told me that.
Man, that's so poetic of you, man. I'm not as worried about Josh as I am about the future of Arturs Silovs in Vancouver. Okay. Because right now he's had a stellar playoff run for the Abbotsford Canucks. Kyle, as you alluded to, they are playing in the third of 5 rounds in the AHL playoffs. So this is the divisional rounds. They're battling the first.
There's 5 rounds there's 5 rounds in the AHL playoffs. Oh, yeah, my bad. There you go.
It's a pretty messed up format, to be honest. It's very confusing. But anyways, it's now round 3 of 5. This is a best of 5 against the Colorado Eagles. They would move on to the conference finals if they win this. So again, Arturs Silovs, he's 5-1 with a .937 save percentage. He's been awesome for the Abbotsford Canucks in these playoffs. But heading into next season, this is what I'm thinking about more so, because Arturs Silovs is not waiver exempt next year. The Canucks, if they try to send him down to the minors, they could lose him on waivers. Now, Kyle, I might need to do a bit of a bigger deep dive in terms of which teams could claim Arturs Silovs, and honestly, we won't really know that until goaltending depth charts shake out in July. But are the Canucks going to roll into next season risking losing Arturs Silovs for nothing, or are they going to make a move to either trade Arturs Silovs proactively or to trade one of Kevin Lankinen and Thatcher Demko?
No. It's so obvious that they're going to try to extend Demko and just roll with like Demko and Lankinen for the foreseeable future. And again, like that's I don't want to say it's a risk. I just think that it is what it is. And for Silovs' sake, like I just kind of want him to have he seems like a good guy, I just want him to have a clear understanding of where he's going in his career. And I feel as if again, Trevor, like you heard Rutherford talk about Demko, like it's going to be a 2-man tandem for the foreseeable future, and there's just no room for any goalie to rise up the ranks. And I know Demko's like injury prone and whatnot, but I feel like goaltending is such a finicky thing that like Talapio or whatever could just like, be the backup or whatnot. I think it's just over for Arturs Silovs. But at the same time, like him being better in the AHL allows me to believe at least they'll probably get like a 4th or 3rd round pick from him. And at the end of the day, it might not be the best trade because this guy might turn into something, but it is what it is, Trevor. It is what it is.
Yeah, I will say that I also think there's a chance that they just go into next season and they risk losing him on waivers. And I know that's not the smartest thing to do, but another team who claims him is basically saying, you're a backup goalie now, right? And is another team going to want to take that risk after the season Arturs Silovs just had, where he won 2 games and both were against the Chicago Blackhawks, right? So I do think there's a chance the Canucks go into next season. I don't want to know. I almost want to say it's a 50-50 proposition right now, right? I don't think it's very likely that they trade Lankinen or Demko, right? Lankinen, they just re-signed him. Demko, I don't think both sides do want to work on an extension. I'd be very shocked if they traded Demko or Lankinen. But I think it's about 50-50 in terms of whether or not they trade Silovs or whether or not they risk losing him for nothing. Or because, I think the other thing too, Kyle, is obviously the Demko injury came up during training camp last year, right? So what if Demko again is not healthy?
Mhm.
I think that's another risk too, right? So
Yeah.
I think they
wait
hold
to
on
the
to
end.
Silovs for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a decision you make at training camp. So I don't think it's a decision necessarily coming in July, but it's something to be on the radar of Canucks fans because, you know, Silovs been touted as the goalie of the future. Look, he almost carried us past the Edmonton Oilers last year. How crazy is it to think about that? And now it's like we might be losing this guy for nothing on waivers. It's a bit of a crazy turn here.
Speaking of crazy, like look at this comment. One of the comments of the year, okay? This comes from our good friend Andrew. I don't think Andrew thinks we're cringe. I don't think Andrew thinks we suck. Like Josh T. What do you think the T stands for in Josh's last name? I think it stands
Turd.
for turd. Yeah, Josh
Yeah.
totally sucks. I think that's it is what it is. I think it's like anyways. Andrew saying Silovs is a high pressure goalie. And you look at what Silovs is doing in the HL playoffs. I think he's like got like a 186 goals against or like 150 goals. I don't even know what it is, but to me, and some people don't agree with me. Some people think that he sucked last year in the playoffs and he allowed too many soft goals, blah, blah, blah. But there is a stoicism to him and a calmness about him in high pressure games. And that's why ultimately I do think down the road when Silovs does leave the Canucks, there are going to be people that are going to be like, dude, like, look how good he is. Now he's the 31 goalie on a different team. And like, was he honestly our best prospect? And we just let him go. Like, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's Demko and Lankinen. Nobody could have predicted the Lankinen thing, you know? And Trevor, I want to bring this up too. Nobody would have predicted that Silovs would be that bad or would have gotten the yips that early in his NHL regular season career. Like early on this season, he was so bad, and you can blame Silovs all you want, but it didn't help the fact that Silovs was in that dressing room when the coaching staff had to deal with Pettersson and Miller being brats, and also the coaching staff maybe expending too much energy on that one certain situation as opposed to like finding Silovs' confidence back, like having his back, having his support, like Rick Tocchet again. And you know, it's good to end on this note because it's a head coaching type of episode. But this is another reason why if you're a Canucks fan, and I want to preface, I was like, yo, pay Rick Tocchet, keep him, blah blah blah, right? But he didn't do well with Arturs Silovs. Like as soon as he hit a block, like isn't your head coach supposed to find confidence in their players, instill some confidence in their players? You know what I'm saying? Like Silovs was such an important piece of the puzzle this year. If Silovs is better, the Canucks make the playoffs. But Rick Tocchet couldn't do that. He couldn't bring the team back together with Miller and Pettersson. He couldn't find Silovs' confidence. Now it's like, oh, that's on the goaltending coach. Well, the goaltending coach is like best friends with Kevin Lankinen. And you just fired Ian Clark or whatever. It's like that was another thing that Rick Tocchet couldn't do. And I don't want to pay Rick Tocchet $5 million a year if he can't just do that. And it's fair to say, right, Trevor? Like, if Silovs is better, the Canucks make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, if Silovs is a 500 goalie, the Canucks are in the playoffs, right? I mean, that really was one of the big differences in the season. I think Silovs was, 2-6-2, I believe. So, I mean, look, I think you blame Rick Tocchet for that more than I did. At the end of the day, Silovs he's that Devils game, the Pittsburgh game, like he did stink in some of those games. The Canucks defense didn't help him out. But Rick Tocchet's got to wear some of that too, right? And they try to put him in better situations later on in the season, but and they tried to give him the first start at the beginning of the year too. Like they tried to show confidence in him, and it didn't necessarily work out. But I think it's another black stain on Rick Tocchet's tenure too. And when he talked to the media, he wasn't really glowing up Silovs. He's talking about how he was struggling. So it was. I think I'm not sure how much more Rick Tocchet could have done other than maybe talk the guy up a bit more. But at the end of the day,
he's a young goalie. He's a young goalie, dude. And this guy had the team's back in the playoffs. Like he was doing his thing. He got us to round 2, game 7. He played pretty good in the games we won. Like he was rock solid. He was doing his thing. And I feel like, again, so many things could have happened, but I wonder if he found a way to just like get the Silovs and like have him forget about like the recent past and have him forget about like the loss against New Jersey or the Pittsburgh game, blah, 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 and just like refocus. Then you play Lankinen less because Lankinen gets hurt because like freaking Rick Tocchet playing this guy like 15 freaking games in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like Rick Tocchet, man, it's just the more and more you think about it, it's like his decision making was so bad this year. Like yeah, the X's and O's and playing structured and like keeping us in the fight. A lot of decisions helped us get to that point, but like the player management and whatnot, and moving this guy around to this guy, and like not playing Silovs, like just like Rick Tocchet had a bad year, and that's why he's gonna be the head coach of the Seattle Kraken. You know, congratulations, buddy. I think this guy made a bad decision, bro. To be honest.
Oh man, from quit Tocchet to Manny Malhotra, man, I'm already that. You know, it's as Mike Laval saying in the comments, Tocchet made a lot of questionable coaching decisions this season. He probably cost us at least 14 points by not calling timeouts. That's why we got to call a timeout right here and get out of here, right? So I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bound. If you like what we're doing, go subscribe and like this video on YouTube on the podcast. Go follow us and leave a 5-star review. If you want to read Kyle and I in writing form, us going back and forth beefing, go read the Substack. Link for that in the bio. Link to the Discord as well. Talk hockey with Canuck fans while you're on the toilet. All that good stuff. We love each and every one of you for tuning in. Shout out to Dan Jardine. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Mike Laval. Shout out to NGK. And even a shout out to Ash Neal, although F the Oilers now and forever. I'm Trevor Begg. That guy's Kyle Bound. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Ash Neal, man, I'm jealous of your life, man. I'm not going to...
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.